Hello, welcome to our Friday reading at Kelly's Soroka Life. I am Kelly and I am the founder of the Broom and Moon Coven, which is open now for membership. And I'll tell you a little bit about that later on. But today I'm here for another live Friday reading. So every Friday, I come on and do a reading, one that I have written in the past and used in the past, and now doing it for the community. So I want to do the reading today, and today is initiating a reconciliation because there's so many times when we maybe need to mend fences or we need to make up with someone. We need to maybe apologize for something that happened, or we just need to make smooth something over. And there are times that we need to do that, and then there are times that we don't need to do it, that we don't need to, it's not ready. The other person is not ready for a reconciliation, or you're not ready for a reconciliation, or it is something that has been broken in the past and is just not, it's just not fixable, or just not, it's a toxic situation that you really need to let go of. So this is in the situation where you know that something needs to be done, something needs to change, something needs to move forward, and you're just not sure how to do it. And this reading, it can give you that support of letting you know what you need to do, and how you need to go about initiating this reconciliation, and give you advice on how to do it. And sometimes that's all we need, is just to feel like that we're accepted, to feel like that this is the right path, that this is something that is good for us to do. And this reading will help you do that. It will help you get to that reconciliation. So for today, there's 5 questions that's going to lead you to this reconciliation. So this is, again, I'm doing this reading, for our community here, and so these are cards for us as a group. And you're always welcome to go back and do these questions again for yourself. Pull your own cards, or whatever method you like to use for divination. And you can just do some journaling, do some meditating with these questions, and sometimes that helps you, get jump started there. So question number 1 is, what do you need to know about what has separated? So this is kind of assuming that there's something that has broken apart, that there's a relationship that has broken, or something. It might not be between people. It might be between you and maybe a group that you are in, or a habit that you were doing, and something that you really were involved in, and something that you really felt strongly about, and then for some reason it was just over, and you maybe didn't you couldn't, something happened within the group that you just felt like you needed to step away, or something happened personally that you felt you needed to step away, or something, maybe you were, going to a gym and you got really busy with work, and now you think, I'd really like to go back. Or you were, taking a class, and maybe the class ended, and you really want to dig in more and do more. So it's anything like that there's been a separation. So what do we need to know? And today I'm using this deck, is the World of Vision Tarot. So what do we need to know? And in this one, we have the 10 of Cups. So what do we need to know about what has separated? And in this one, the 10 of Cups there is very happy. And so it's very interesting that we have a card that is very happy, that seems like an ending to something that if there's needs to be a reconciliation, a lot of times it was something that wasn't very happy that ended. So for for this situation, then what we are looking for that needs to be reconciled was something that did make us happy, something that did, fill our cups, something that did was emotionally satisfying, because we got that 10 of cups, and the 10 of cups is very, it's like just, this beautiful end of the day and being with the people that you love. And so that could, tell us that maybe it's somebody, within your family, or somebody that you were, friends with, and for some reason the friendship, for whatever reason, the friendship just ended. And so we're looking at that, and just we just need to know that, and need to know before we start on this journey, that this how we felt beforehand, and how it did make us feel really good, and we are ready to move on. So the next question is, what do we need to know to initiate the reconciliation? So we know that the situation that we're going into is something that made us happy. And so now we're ready to move on, and we're ready to make that first step. So what do we need to know? So here we have the King of Cups. The King of Cups is can knows how to speak, and knows how to speak and communicate very well. And the King of Cups is particularly knows how to speak about feelings and emotions, and how to be very tactful when communicating about feelings. And so if this was a situation that really made us happy beforehand, and we need to communicate that, we need to let the other person know, or the other party know, or the other side, whoever is working in this reconciliation, we need to let them know that, how, our emotions, how we feel about it. Maybe starting off with how we felt before the separation. How did we feel? And kind of look back on the good and the bad things, because even if it was a 10 of cups situation, there was still things that, everything wasn't, great. Everything wasn't perfect. And there were a lot of things that were really good. And so now we need to be able to express that, and to start out with speaking, and speaking our truth, and being okay with maybe, it really hurting to communicate this, or to say things that you need to say out loud, and to admit some things to yourself. Sometimes that's hard when there's been a lot of maybe, attention on both sides, and it may be really hard for you to communicate that. But the King of Cups is there to support you in that, because the King of Cups knows how to do that. So look at that, at what you want to say, and what you need to say, and how you can speak from your heart, and how you can speak openly and listen, because the other side of communication is listening. And so you may need to listen to something that is really hard to hear, especially if there's been something really hard going on in the relationship, or in the situation that you're trying to reconcile. And so looking at that, and speaking, listening to yourself, listening to your heart, listening to the other person and the other person's feelings, and so that you're on the right track, and you make this as, I want to be, I want this to be an equal exchange. I want us to work this out. And so then question number 3 is, what challenge do you face in this reconciliation? So we know that it's something that we very much were fulfilled by at one point. And now we're starting out by expressing our feelings, knowing what's going on, and speaking and listening. And now what challenge are we going to face? And here we have the Queen of Coins. And the Queen of Coins, she is about it's a lot about emotions too, because the queen has that emotional aspect to her. But here she's the Queen of Coins. She's the queen of things, of all things material, the queen of the home and family and relationships and abundance. And so the challenge here is, trying to go back to this place, and being very being very open with your emotions, being open with your emotions and communicating. And then at that point, what might happen next, and just being prepared for work that you may have to do in that, and to make this reconciliation happen, because the Queen of Coins, she does the work. She takes care of what needs to be taken care of. She takes care of she makes sure that everybody has what they need, and she makes sure that all the resources are there, and make sure that people feel welcome. And so that might be a challenge, trying to bring in, trying to communicate about these feelings and these thoughts and these emotions that are really hard, because there was something that went wrong. There was something that happened that went wrong at some point, and trying to work through that and build on that is the challenge. But we have a couple more cards to get some guidance from. And so question 4 says, who may help us in this reconciling act? So we may need to go outside of just ourselves, or ourselves and the other person. So who can help us with this? And this, we have the 5 of Swords. And the 5 of Swords is the person who has fought the battle, the person that has experience in conflict, has experience in dealing with a situation when it has gone wrong. So this might be a suggestion to go to someone who maybe has gone through the same thing, who has experience with reconciling, has experience with the situation that you're in, or is maybe just a sounding board, somebody that you can talk to and say, I really want to make things right with this person, and this is what I want to communicate with them, and I just want to make sure that I'm communicating really well, and from a place that is from my heart. And having another person, because it is the Swords card, having somebody else listen, and you be able to talk it out, can be really helpful. And so look outside that, for that person. And if you don't feel really comfortable going to another person, just do it out loud to yourself. Do some journaling. The Swords is about communication. So, journal and talk it out, and, say what you want to say, and listen to yourself, and, read what you've written as if somebody else were reading it. And so you can kind of get that feedback and see, is this, are you really saying these things from your heart, or are you just, trying to one up the other person? And, that is what a lot of the 5 of Swords is about, is, just winning at all costs. And that's not, if this, making a reconciliation something that you want to be heartfelt, and something that you want to last, and something that you want to make right, being that, winning and trying to just make your point at all costs is not going to be helpful. And so looking at that, and so that's why it might be helpful to kind of rehearse what you want to say, talk to somebody else, get some advice about this, and just say, this is, this is really hard for me, and I just want, I just need somebody to listen. And that will be a good way to bring in that outside source if needed. And then the last question is, what is going to help this reconciliation stay strong in the future? So we've gone through all the steps. We've looked back and realized that this is something that we really want to make better. And we started on the path of communicating from our heart, making sure that we are being open and honest, and that we're bringing, in another opinion, or making sure that we or are communicating in a tactful and caring way, and that we're taking care of whatever needs to be taken care of, taking care of the resources that we need in this situation. And so now we've gone to the other person, or we've gone to, whatever the other party is in this situation, and we've started this process of reconciling, and it's going well, and things are working out. And now we want to make sure that it stays on track. And so here we have the Page of Swords. So here we have, and so this we have two cups and a coins or pentacles on the top, the first three cards. And so those are very much the emotions and the feelings, and and being and becoming grounded. And so that is, it's going to be a very emotional time. But then we have these swords underneath, that underneath this reconciliation process, that it's going to be important that we are keeping those communication lines open. And the Page of Swords is that moving forward, staying grounded with the way that staying grounded with the path that you're going on, not trying to rush it too much, because this is the page. And it's like it's a new beginning. It's that first card, that first court card. And so it is a new beginning. And this is, and even though we have this history, we're in a new place now, and this reconciliation is in a new place, and needs different kind of nurturing, needs different kinds of moving forward. And so making sure that you keep the communication lines open, making sure that you are listening, as well as talking, and and taking it slow, just taking it step by step, and not expecting the situation to resolve itself overnight. And having this 10 and lots of these court cards here, that is just saying that this is going to be a longer process, and that it may seem very easy to rush things, and just to say, oh, everything's done, everything's fixed, everything's back to normal. But it's really not, because you're not going back to the way things were. You're going to, as kind of building on that. But it's in your, whoever's involved, you and whatever other party is involved, you're all in a different place now. And to rush it, and to try to just expect it to be back to normal overnight is not the way to look for this, and for this reconciliation. So that's going to help keep the reconciliation strong in the future. And so keeping the openness, keeping the heartfeltness in it, and moving forward in that way, is going to help this reconciliation and make it stronger in the future. Okay, that is the reading. I will definitely have the cards, the picture of the cards, and the information about the questions as usual in a post on YouTube and Facebook and on Instagram, so you can find these questions and work with them yourself. And like I said, the Broom and Moon Coven is now open, and this is a place for support. This is a place when you want to, when you want to initiate a reconciliation and you're not sure of how to do it. You're not sure of what steps to take. The coven is here. The coven community is here. You can come in here in a safe, supported environment and get some information, get some support, get just people to listen, and just an ear, an open heart, and in within the coven, so that you can go out and do this for yourself. And it's all based in witchcraft practices. So it's all based in, working with nature and working with the cycles and working with divination tools, so that you're really open to listening to your intuition in a situation like this, and making sure that you're moving forward, and that as you move forward, that it stays within alignment for what you want for yourself and you as a witch and a practicing spiritual person. And so this is, the coven, what one of the things that the coven is about is that place of coming and being able to come together and have a place of support and have a place of acknowledgement. And so if you're interested and you love witchcraft and you want to learn more, there's also the coven curriculum that's open now, and you can come there and learn more about bringing in different aspects of healing and different aspects of witchcraft practices that just fulfills your life and just makes all of this just a beautiful practice together. So I will leave the information in the description box, and you can go there and go to the website, and you can find out more there about the information about the coven. And you can also watch a class, a sample class that is a part of the curriculum. So if you go to the website, and you can go there, and you can also sign up for my email and get on my email list, and you can get updates about the coven and lots of other witchy things that go on and during every week. And there is, I have two specials for this month, or these 2 months, these first two opening months, April and May. And so if you're one of the first 13 people that sign up, you will get a crystal, a coven crystal, from me. And you will also get if you sign up during April or May, also get upgraded. You can sign up with the premium, and you'll get the upgrade to the VIP for 2 months, which includes a one-on-one magical coaching session with me. And so all of these things, it's great, it's fun, it's just a beautiful environment. And I'm so happy to be able to have it open and have a place for people to come and share our witchiness together. So that is it for today, our reading on initiating a reconciliation, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.